Hey guys, how's it going? Spinosaurus the King here, and in this video, I'm going to be doing a review and doing an explaining on the movie that I came up with. It's called Jurassic Park: A New World, aka Jurassic Park 4. Me and Patrik came up with this title together. The film was written by me, and the plot was by me, and the story was also by me. My best friend, Patrik Cauan, animated this movie, and he did an absolute amazing job, and I'm so proud of him. The part of the film that Patrik came up with was showing the new Velociraptor hybrid of the Lost World Velociraptor and the male blue Jurassic Park 3 Velociraptor, which was honestly badass, and I loved it. And I also loved how Patrik shows this raptor escaping from his cage and freeing some dinosaurs, which happened to be the Dilophosaurus, the Pachycephalosaurus, and the easily nublar Ceratosaurus and Carnotaurus. Besides that, I came up with the rest of the movie, besides the parts where I got from the Dinosaur Protection Group website. So for this film, I didn't come up with everything. I actually got some stuff from the Jurassic World website called the Dinosaur Protection Group, and also the Masrani terminal, which required a password to get access to that information. Here are the parts that I did not come up with in this film I directed. So the first part of this film starts off with the ending of Jurassic Park 3, with the Pteranodons flying away from Isla Sorna to find a new home. I came up with saying it took them 1 week to get to Canada, due to it probably would take them roughly 3 to 7 days to fly from Isla Sorna all the way to Canada. Now, for the next part, I only came up with the lines for Vic costumes, but not the actual scene. So on the Dinosaur Protection Group website, it says that the Jurassic Park 3 Pteranodons, the three of them, they flew all the way to Canada after Jurassic Park 3, and Vic Hoskins hunted them down and killed all three of them off so he could try to get a job with Ingen, and this worked. He was hired by Simon Masrani for a mercenary for Jurassic World's Ingen team. The next part of this film is Simon Masrani announcing that he will make another dinosaur theme park called Jurassic World, and it would be open to the public in 2005. I did come up with the announcement scene, which took place in 2002, so it's not canon, but honestly guys, it feels super canon with what I came up with. So then Dr. Alan Grant and Dr. Ian Malcolm are hanging out together at Alan Grant's house, and they have a small cameo in this film reacting to Ingen making another dinosaur theme park, which obviously Alan Grant and Ian Malcolm think that Ingen are complete fools by making another park with dinosaurs after what happened in the first theme park, which was Jurassic Park back in 1993. So this part was not canon, except for the part of, the park being open in 2005. But, it does state that on the Dinosaur Protection Group website that Jurassic World was open to the public in 2005. Now, for the next scene, this was not canon, but it feels insanely canon, just how the other scenes I came up with did. Simon hires contractors to build Jurassic World in 2003, and it took them exactly 1 year to build the new park. Now, for the next scene, it takes place another year later in 2004. So the part of the 2004 scenes here that that actually are canon, I didn't come up with it, is that Simon Masrani did actually hire Ingen to go to Isla Sorna to capture some dinosaurs for Jurassic World due to Isla Nublar barely having any dinosaurs at all. It only had the dinosaurs we saw in the first Jurassic Park movie on the island from what we know, which is honestly, it's not enough for a giant Jurassic World theme park, and it wouldn't attract the amount of people they wanted to attract, and they wouldn't earn enough money to be able to sustain the park and make people happy. Besides that, I came up with the rest of the 2004 scenes, which was Simon and Henry hiring Roland Tembo and Billy Brennan to help capture certain dinosaurs that were tough to capture. When Simon called Roland Tembo, he told him the offer, which was $5 million. At first, Roland Tembo said no, because as we know, Roland Tembo was offered a job in the Lost World Jurassic Park in 1997 by Ingen, but he said, "I'm done working for the company of death," which I don't blame him for saying that. And he mentioned that to Simon on the phone. But then when Simon said that there is a much bigger predator than the Tyrannosaurus Rex that was an accident left behind on Isla Sorna in 1999 by Dr. Henry Wu, and Roland Tembo would get his own ship and equipment for free to use, Roland Tembo seemed interested, not for the full-time job, but just so he can get some extra money. And he was actually really interested to seeing this much bigger threat than the buck T-Rex he captured back in 1997. So he wanted to take this, this creature, which was the Spinosaurus, down. Simon allows him to take one friend with him, so he called Nick Van Owen, and he said yes for a few reasons. Of course, for the money, and so he could actually document this incident on Isla Sorna with his camera, and so he can, try to expose Roland Tembo for hunting dinosaurs, as this was apparently what he did in the Lost World Jurassic Park. I'm not sure this is true, because I thought they were good friends, but my good friend told me that this is true. So when Simon called Billy Brennan and told him about the offer, he said, I could really use the money for the business that I'm doing with Alan Grant, and I wouldn't mind going back to Isla Sorna just for one last time for the adventure and for the $5 million. And Billy Brennan invited his good friend, which was Dr. Justin Grant, because Alan Grant obviously said no. But, Dr. Alan Grant's younger brother, which is not canon, his name is Justin Grant. So then they all get into a helicopter and ride to Isla Nublar, and they have a conversation with Dr. Henry Wu about what dinosaurs he wants them to capture, which was the Spinosaurus, Ceratosaurus, Mamenchisaurus, and Ceratosaurus. Henry Wu explains to Roland that Ingen Team 1, which is Ken Wheatley and a bunch of other random Ingen soldiers, will be capturing the rest of the dinosaurs on the island. Roland asks, why did you hire us to capture these dinosaurs in specific? Henry explains that those 3 dinosaurs were not on Ingen's list, and Henry made them, and when he did make them, he forgot to put tracking implants in them, so they can't be tracked. And Henry says, Roland, Ingen Team 1 doesn't have the experience like you have, and they don't stand a chance to take down the 2 most powerful dinosaurs on Isla Sorna, which was the Spinosaurus and the Mamenchisaurus. And he explains that the Ceratosaurus and Ceratosaurus may be hard to find as well as Spino, since they can't be tracked. So Roland understands, and he goes with Nick, Justin, and Billy, plus 3 other Ingen soldiers on a really big ship with giant cages and a giant crane car to capture these dinosaurs that they were hired to capture. When they arrive on Isla Sorna, shortly after, they find the Spinosaurus. Well, the Spinosaurus actually finds them, and the reason why I made the Spinosaurus in this movie much bigger and much stronger and have a much deeper roar in this movie is due to the fact that he was confirmed a juvenile in Jurassic Park 3, since he wasn't even the full length of what the real Spinosaurus got to. He was taller than real life Spinosaurus, but not the length, and he was only 2 years old in that movie, since he was born in 1999. So Ingen and Roland and the others try to capture this dinosaur, but they soon realize that this dinosaur is way too powerful to capture, and Roland Temple even acknowledged in this film that this dinosaur is way too powerful and way more powerful than the buck Tyrannosaurus Rex he caught back in 1997. So later that night, they go to sleep in their trailer and tents, and in the bushes was the JP3 Raptor pack and the Lost World Raptor pack, and they fight to the death over territory in the same area where the grassing took place in the Lost World Jurassic Park. The JP3 Raptor pack did win this fight due to those raptors being much stronger and smarter than the Lost World Raptors from what we saw from both of them. Anyways, for the next day, Roland and the others get their equipment and cars ready to set up, and they go for a hike to try to find the Ceratosaurus and the Ceratosaurus, and then they do find a herd of Ceratosauruses, and they end up capturing a male and a female Ceratosaurus. And once they place it in the cages, Roland tells Nick not to free them once again, but Nick states that he only freed them the last time due to him not knowing what he was going to do with the dinosaurs. But now that he knows they're going to a safe place, Nick Van Owen agreed not to free them. So as they keep moving along in the woods, later that day, they find the Ceratosaurus eating a Ceratosaurus that it killed earlier that evening. Billy points this dinosaur out to Roland, and Roland puts this dinosaur to sleep with his tranquilizer gun, and Nick uses this giant crane car to lift the dinosaur and put it in his cage. Later that night, the Ceratosaurus pack tried to escape by head ramming the gate. Since the cage door wasn't strong enough, the metal cage broke and they got free. The Ceratosaurus sees them and roars due to him wanting to escape as well, so he breaks free too. The next day, Roland questions Nick, but Nick tells Roland it wasn't me, and then Justin Grant says that they must have broken free while we were sleeping. So they go on a search for the Mamenchisaurus, and they find one, and Justin and Billy try to use ropes to tackle him down, and Roland says go for the legs, and while Roland uses this car, the crane car, to try to bring the Mamenchisaurus down, but this animal is way too powerful, and Nick Van Owen tries to use Roland Tembo's tranquilizer gun, but what they didn't realize is they didn't bring enough tranquilizers, and they don't have any left, so they can't put any more dinosaurs to sleep. So the Mamenchisaurus broke the crane car and sent Billy and Justin flying, and Billy landed in a pond, while poor Justin Grant landed landed his leg on a rock, which got him very injured. So they agreed the next day that they're going to head back, whether it's tomorrow or the next day. So they head back to base camp, and Roland and Nick talk, and Nick questions him a lot because Nick Van Owen came for the money and to document the dinosaurs and to try to expose Roland Tembo for hunting dinosaurs on Isla Sorna. Justin Grant sleeps in the one-bedroom trailer since Roland, Nick, and Billy agreed that he should be the one to have it because it only has one bedroom due to his leg really getting severely injured. So they sleep in the tents while Justin Grant's in the trailer. Ken Wheatley calls Roland Tembo to tell him that him and Ingen Team 1 has captured every species on the island except for Brachiosaurus, because they left all those behind, and of course they didn't go for Ceratosaurus, Ceratosaurus, Spinosaurus, or Mamenchisaurus because they weren't hired to capture those dinosaurs on the island, which means that they're leaving more than half of the dinosaurs behind on the island because they've captured too many species. But let's be honest, since Isla Sorna is roughly 4 times the size of Isla Nublar, there's no way in heaven and earth every single dinosaur from Isla Sorna would fit on Isla Nublar. Like, it's just literally impossible. Anyways, so later that night, a Carnotaurus appears and puts his head in the tent, and Justin wakes up warning that they have trouble, and then an Allosaurus appears, and they actually fought before as the Carnotaurus, and this explains why the Carnotaurus was missing a horn on the Carno, but the Carno got away the last fight, and a few days earlier the Carno ate one of the Allosaurus's baby, and then they got into a fight and Carno got away. So this time the fight was really personal. They fight to the death, and the Allosaurus wins by pushing the Carno and trailer off the cliff, exploding on a big rock that it landed on in the ocean below. So the next day before they leave, Nick Van Owen takes a video of 2 Triceratops fighting for leader and a video of the Lost World Tyrannosaurus Rex family eating an Apatosaurus they killed earlier that morning. And then they head back to their homes on the ship, and on their way back, they see the Lost World Pteranodons flying by them. Ingen Team 1 also is heading back, and they arrived back to Isla Nublar with all the dinosaurs they were supposed to capture from Isla Sorna. As soon as they get back, the hybrid raptor escapes, and it frees some of the dinosaurs. Then we see a new Ceratosaurus that actually lived on Isla Nublar. I added this because the Ceratosaurus... I added this because personally I think there would be another Ceratosaurus, since the Dinosaur Protection Group stated that the Ceratosaurus that was on Isla Nublar, it didn't say it was the same Ceratosaurus from JB3, it just said Ceratosaurus. But I personally think there is more than one Ceratosaurus, because, and I think the Ceratosaurus on Isla Nublar that died was a different Ceratosaurus. And think about it, if they made more than one T-Rex and berries and aloes and carnos, don't think they would have been more than one Spino and Ceratosauruses? I'm almost guaranteed they did. So I made this up though I came up with a cause of how the Ceratosaurus on Isla Nublar went extinct by showing a Carnotaurus fight it to the death and kill the Ceratosaurus off. Shortly after, I added a Dilophosaurus versus Pachycephalosaurus scene due to this being a fair and awesome battle that I personally would like to see in a movie for sure. Now for the next scene, it was the Isla Nublar Spinosaurus. Now, I personally don't think that they took the Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3 to Isla Nublar, because think about it, if they did, I'm pretty sure the website or Cauan himself or someone in that, the Jurassic Park, who's actually being involved with the movies, would have said something. And on top of that, we didn't see or hear the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus in Jurassic World or Fallen Kingdom. And on top of that, in Jurassic World, we see a Spinosaurus skeleton that doesn't look anything like the Jurassic Park 3 one. So perhaps that was a Spinosaurus that once lived on Isla Nublar and then died off somehow. So if you're all wondering why I killed off the Spinosaurus on Isla Nublar in this movie, is because it was obviously confirmed dead on the Isla Nublar map. So the next scene takes place 1 year later in June 2005. This scene was canon because Jurassic World was opened in 2005, and the next scene takes place in early 2012 when Simon and Henry realize that Jurassic World is not getting many visitors anymore due to people being bored of real dinosaurs. So Simon asks Henry Wu to make a genetically modified hybrid bigger than T-Rex. So Henry makes this hybrid, and this scene actually is somewhat canon due to the Dinosaur Protection Group website saying that the Indominus Rex was born in 2012. One last thing that I showed was the Mosasaurus as a baby and Baby Blue and the new Pteranodons and Dimorphodons hatching in 2004. The only thing that we forgot to show was Simon Masrani hiring Owen and Claire, because we didn't know exactly how that scene went out and we didn't really think it was super important for this film. Maybe it would be slightly important, but I don't know. It's just I'm not a big fan of those two characters. Like they're okay with I prefer all these other characters I added in the film way better than those two. But anyways, guys, this pretty much sums up the entire, story of the movie that was and wasn't shown in our film. If this movie was live action and showed a few more dinosaurs and was 2 hours long, I would definitely rate this film a good 9 out of 10. I definitely would enjoy this film way more than Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I personally think I am good enough to be an actual script writer, but unfortunately either Universal Pictures doesn't agree with that or they haven't noticed me yet. So Colin Trevorrow, Steven Spielberg, or anyone involved in the Jurassic films, if you're watching this video, I really, I hope you all realize I can make this franchise a billion times better with my ideas for Jurassic Park films. Really. Look at all the films I've created so far with the help of Patrik. I wrote them all with him writing a few ideas, and Patrik animates my ideas because he totally agrees with me. He loves my ideas. So God brought me and Patrik together for a reason, and Patrik is my best friend because we get along. He agrees with me on pretty much everything. I agree with him on pretty much everything. But yeah. Anyways, guys, if you want to do a review on this film, you're more than welcome to. Just please credit me and put the link to the actual movie in the description and say to subscribe to me. If you're willing to do all that, then you're more than welcome to do a review on this movie. Anyways, but what do you guys think? Would this make do you think I would make an epic, script writer or director for a Jurassic World movie? Tell me in the comments down below. Before I end this video, I'd like to thank my YouTube team, Patrik Cauan, my 2D animator, David Church, my director, BK Go Crazy, my Spino buddy, Zane Chiller, my first friend at Jurassic Park community on Instagram, Anthony Ellis, my drawer, GEM as James Edward Macdonald, my YouTube reactor, Spinosaurus Boy, my comedian, and Sarthak Sharma, my best friend in real life. Also, one last thing, if you're interested in Spinosaurus the King merchandise and other offers I'm selling, here is what I'm currently selling on my Patreon. A t-shirt with one logo of my merchandise is $40, and with 2 pictures it's $50. A 5-minute YouTube discussion video a day on your choice is $15 a month. 2 deleted scenes a month of previous animations is $10 a month. A cameo of your very own character getting eaten by a dinosaur of your choice and upcoming animations is $5 a month. And cheapest is $1 a month donation to support my content here on YouTube. If you're interested in buying any from me, the link to my Patreon will be in the description. All people who join my Patreon will receive a shout out at the end of every video I upload. Last one is custom Photoshop pictures that I make for either your thumbnails on YouTube or just for pictures you would like to use. I charge $5 per every picture. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you're ready for my next video on YouTube. Leave a like, post a positive comment, rate and share my YouTube channel with all your friends and family, and please do the exact same for my YouTube team, and have a great day, everyone.